Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Haloani, the CTO of COTI, and together with me is Hallufgil, our chief architect. Basically, COTI is the world's first blockchain protocol optimized for decentralized payments, designed for use by merchant, government, decentralized payments network, and stablecoin issuer. So to better understand the COTI ecosystem and architecture, I will overview briefly some of the Trustchain components and their roles in the system. So in COTI, there are basically four types of nodes. The first type of node is the full node, which is the gateway for any client interaction in the system. The full node is responsible for attaching transactions to the DAG, validating them, propagating them to the network, executing the proof of trust, and also collecting network fees. The second type of nodes are the protection layer of DSP nodes, which are highly trusted nodes responsible for reaching consensus on account balance and also data integrity. Another type of very important node is the COTI trust core node, which is responsible, as its name said, for calculating participant trust score within the network. And the last type of nodes are history nodes, which are responsible for storing all the transaction history of the COTI ledger. These type of nodes are needed since we don't want to store all history on all of our nodes in the network. Another different type of not node but server in the system are the KYC server, which is responsible for the onboarding and KYC and AML verification process, and also the zero spend server, which allows us to release idle transaction within the network. If we put it all together and try to illustrate it, the flow and the architecture of the system, it looks like this. When each interaction in the system starts with an onboarding process, followed by an initial trust score being generated, and then enabling a user to generate his seed, connect to the COTI wallet, and start to transact. All transactions are monitored by the DSP nodes and trust core nodes, and each transaction is propagated in cluster within its domain, as it illustrated in the image. Let's start with Eli live demonstration of COTI AlphaNet transaction flow and attachment algorithm.
The first step, we have to connect to any full node. Full node will give us the cluster data. So let's connect to the first full node. As you see, we get the data. The cluster is a data structure which is called DAG. And we see here all kind of transactions which are sent by user wallets. When I point to any transaction, I can see all the details, like its unique ID, its trust score, the attachment time to the cluster, its height, and its status. At the left side of the screen, there is a working full node. It is the full node that we connected from Alpha Live. A full node is a node that executes the transactions. It's taking the transactions from user wallets, execute them, doing proof of trust for them, and propagate it to other full nodes, so that each full node has the same data. Let me show you this fact at Alpha Live. So I'm connected to server 1, and I get all the entities. When I change the server and connect it to other full nodes, we can see that we have the same entities. Now I will show you how to send transaction from my wallets and how we will see it on running full node and Alpha Live. So this is the login page. At the first step, I will insert my seed and I will connect to any full node. We have 3 full nodes. I will choose the first one and I will connect to my wallet. Here we see the balance. And I will send a transaction. I choose an address to send. Amount to send, I insert. And I press the send transaction button and the wallet will send the transaction to full node. The running full node get the transaction. At first, it checks the data integrity of the transaction. At the second step, it chooses 2 sources to be connected. It does the proof of work and it attaches the transaction to the cluster. the transaction is successful and it is attached to DAG. At the working full node, the number of transactions is increased. The new transaction is also added to cluster of COTI Live.
So this was our live demonstration. This is on real environment, real production environment of the AlphaNet, which you can try, use, and even check the code in the GitHub. But we would also like to present some of the key innovations we are planning and working on, aiming to be released in our upcoming releases and later versions. And the first one is the COTI multi-DAG concept, in which COTI won't be bounded anymore to one instance of the DAG, which will allow us to deploy different tokens and smart contracts on the platform. The second concept is the smart contract. Similar to Ethereum smart contract, COTI is introducing a decentralized on-chain smart contracts for the DAG, which is first of its kind. And another very interesting concept is the stablecoin framework, and it will basically allow and offer a framework for issuing and handling stablecoin over a COTI network. The COTI multi-DAG, together with smart contract and the possibility of multiple Genesis transactions, will allow us to create high-performance stablecoin. From this point on, we will move forward to your question. Okay, another question from Nick. Why do you believe the world, in particular the finance sector, is ready for decentralization? Basically, it's not that the world is ready or not. I mean, the world is going to be ready whether it wants to be or not. I mean, we can look at Ripple and Stellar and stuff like that, which many enterprises are already implementing and embedding within their system. And a blockchain solution does not necessarily mean that you can do stuff which you are used to do. And it doesn't mean that you control the whole data. I mean, government and banks needs to understand that being exposed and sharing data over the network is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a good thing in the long run. And we say, it comes from the crowd, and people will say that this is the way that everyone needs to transact in the new era, and that's why this type of technology needs to be adopted. Okay, another question is from Aaron. Will you be creating a protocol, some sort of software development kit for others to get use of your Trustchain?
Yes, the intention is to provide such SDK tools to easily integrate and build apps on our Trustchain infrastructure.
Okay, another question from Dylan. What are the use cases that the COTI team discover besides stablecoin devs considering to build on its network? Okay, so the use cases are varied. I mean, we do offer, other than the stablecoin framework, it's actually a framework, it's not really a stablecoin. We are going to provide a way for you to mint and burn coins on the DAG itself. We are also going to have use cases in which you can deploy your own token. We can think of many use cases of, let's say, instead of wire transfer, just do a trusted transfer. Deploy exchange, deploy other stable coins on our network. And the trust itself as a trust platform can be used in many, many aspects other than, trust is needed not just in payment system, it can be used in IoT, it can be used for interaction between people, it can be used, for example, for storing data on shared cloud storage and giving privileges to different users. So we can think of many, many use cases. We are starting with the payment type of use cases, but from that we can move forward to other type of use cases. But as a business concept, we are looking at it as, let's say, three types. Payment providers can provide and take our solution and either deploy their own token and offer it as a payment mechanism within their website or solution, and by that minimize their fees, scale up, and won't be dependent on, they can give loyalties, they can give a lot of stuff to users by that, and this gives them power and save them a lot of money. Other use cases is the one that we are doing. I mean, you can build just as a merchant, you can choose like you pay with PayPal, you can pay with COTI, and many other stuff like that. Would like to thank you again for joining us and for having us on this webinar. Please feel free to ask us questions in our either GitHub or through the Telegram community. Also, always available for any question, any technical question, any ideas. So feel free to contact us and to share with us whatever you have in mind. Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.